Adjusting to the new position, honestly, there's not a whole lot that's different because since Colin started Repaint, kind of been running everything anyway. My business cards just look a little bit different. So there hasn't been a whole lot of adjustment other than the fact that he and Allison are often out of the office. So it just kind of brings a little bit more onto me, which is good. I got big shoulders to handle it. But for 2019, I mean, we started off everybody getting back from the holidays. Then we were hit with storage pickups right away. That was a huge part of our week. We had about 200 people pick up from storage on one day. And it's crazy because you get through that kind of stuff, you get through the back to school sales, you think you have all this time, and then next thing you know, January is over. We're already a third of the way through Q1, and so it's kind of crazy, but it kind of gives us now the chance to finally start focusing on some of the goals that we put into place for 2019. So one of my biggest goals for this year is to continue investing into our leadership team, specifically Brad and Hannah, but also anybody else that wants to emerge as a leader and grow with our organization. The people are what makes this place so awesome, and having great people like Brad and Hannah continuing to invest into their leadership training, give them skills that I've developed over the years is super critical to, one day maybe passing this on to them, or just having a good tight-knit group of people. So continuing to invest into their leadership. Also, I mean, from a number standpoint, we have talked about forever. I mean, go find the vlog. They're talking about hitting the 1,000 scooter mark. That's something that we're definitely driven to do. So it's like, how do we make that happen? This board behind us, this is kind of like, this side is mine, but this is kind of what my brain looks like. This is what keeps me accountable. We won't dive into all the numbers, but everything's kind of broken by targets I want to hit by month. What 5%, 12%, all the way up to 30% growth would look like. I have goals for the year, adding and diversifying some product lines. There's some things that I'm already talking to about to different distributors about bringing in. There's some net profit goals, some stuff like that. But then also, we've talked about focusing on keywords and focusing on efficiency and streamlining processes, getting some things a little bit leaner, being frugal, cutting waste, all that kind of stuff is definitely all part of my goals for 2019. So it's time to actually start working on them now that the January craziness is over.
You got any travel plans this year?
I don't have any specifically yet, and the crazy thing about those is sometimes they pop up. I think last year, whenever they announced the Vespa trip, we had about 3 weeks to get everything ready for that. So I don't have any right now, but we never know. I mean, sometimes distributors like to pull some of their dealers together. There's trade shows that are always happening. Sometimes it just kind of depends on making plans for one, but I don't have any specifically yet. So core value 7 is actually my favorite core value. I mean, I think when you go through this business, there's some that always stand out more than others at different times. But 7 is my baby because I like kind of obsessive over communicating clearly. Doesn't mean I'm always perfect at it, but I try. And it's the single hardest thing to do. As it relates to things like efficiency, I mean, the more clearly you can communicate, whether it's, I mean, we have all these different channels. I mean, we have email, we have text, we have New Scooters Plus uses Slack as a communication channel. Obviously, you can pick up the phone and call somebody. There's all these ways that you can communicate to somebody, and sometimes you need to do two or three of those instead of just relying on one to make sure that there are no excuses for messages not to get through. And I think if you do that, if you communicate to 2 or 3 different times or 2 or 3 different ways to your team or to customers or whatever, just to make sure that they get a message, then you're making sure that you're being as efficient with your time and processes as possible. You don't have any baton dropping or anything like that as you're going from, say, service department to parts and back and that kind of stuff. So just making sure that the communication is clear, I think, definitely does help with efficiency and cuts out a lot of frustration from customers. A lot of times it cuts out unnecessary spending. So it's definitely in line with the word of the year for 2019.
2019 is going pretty good so far. I'd say we're not quite where I want to be yet, but we'll get into it.
Well, 3 weeks in, what's new?
So what's new? We actually just got a whole new brand in, which is pretty cool. So we started selling Lance. We haven't sold one yet, but we finally have some in our showroom now. We have some Scoot Star, which is kind of a branch off from Lance as well. We also have a new motorcycle now, so the G400. So it's a genuine brand. And so lots of new products. We're all kind of learning about it as we go. But very excited to see, how that changes our end goals and everything.
Any products you're looking forward to? Can you not talk about that?
I mean, we're definitely exploring options. There's nothing definite, so I don't really want to give any, sneak peeks on that yet. But there's definitely more to come. So for the team, one, I mean, obviously learning about the new products. I'm learning as well, especially with like the motorcycle. It's a completely different realm. So just getting us all really trained up, confident in what we're talking about. Aside from that, honestly, I think we have the most killer sales team we've ever had since I started working here. So I don't really have too much more than just for them to be, confident in what they're talking about. So core value 10 is don't leave your team members hanging. I think that's the most important on this team. One that we try to, put in most often. And I think where it applies to efficiency is if you're helping your team members wherever they're needed, it's helping us get things done quicker, get things done correctly, make sure there's no mistakes in between. So therefore being more efficient.
Cool. And last question, where do you see NS4L 1 year from today?
Hopefully talking about how we just sold 1,000 scooters, but and hopefully having a lot more product as well. So basically just reaching all those goals.
For 2019 so far, it's exciting. It's just very busy. I'm already, here we are the 23rd, and I'm just been going nuts since I got here at 9 a.m.
Looking back at 2018, what was the biggest goal that you accomplished, or what was the goal that you were most proud of?
2018, it's weird because I stepped into my new role in 2018, so that was a big learning curve for me. And just in terms of how to communicate with my guys, I was very much an equal with them before I got promoted to the service manager. And then since then, we've hired some new folks, and they've kind of come in underneath me. So that was the biggest change in terms of me personally and in my growth with the company. Just taking on that new job title and then trying to figure out how to actually communicate with the guys and go from friend to boss. That was very much our coworker to boss. That was really hard for me, but I feel like I try to work my absolute hardest. So, if everyone in there can see me working my hardest, they're next up to, hey, I can help you out. Let me pick up that tool and can I get on this one for you or whatnot. So if we're struggling, if we're very much a team, and that's one thing. That's probably my biggest goal for 2019 is to get every single person on the same page in terms of a team aspect. I know our big word for 2019 is efficiency. And I've already created a system and a process that I think will work once we get the right personnel in place. My biggest core value for the whole year would probably be core value 7, communicate clearly so we can be better, more efficient for this year. I'm excited about the department. There's a whole lot happening right now. We just brought on a couple of tier 1 techs that are hungry and really are eager to learn. This is kind of the field they see themselves in as they start their new careers. So that to me is really exciting to see that grow. I also am excited just to see where we're at as a whole at the end of the year. With these new processes that we've just put in place, I just really kind of excited to see how that blooms.